Whether it's high-end garments or repurposed accessories, all fashion starts as a vision from a designer. This week, meet creatives taking their visions to the next level. On the move, changing perceptions, pushing limits. Today's Africa is not framed by the past. A new generation is stepping up, embracing tradition while blazing a new path. Giving voice to unique style, connected in ways others before were not. This is where the urban pulse meets creativity and a new culture thrives. This is African Voices.
I feel that Africa as a whole continent is ready to receive the African woman and to empower her, contrary to maybe 20 years ago. My Africa is wild, colorful, and vibrant. I am Doreen Mashika, designer from Zanzibar. So right now we're in the heart of Stone Town, and this is a very famous place called Joe's Corner, and we'll be shooting our first look, which I'm going to be presenting at Swahili Fashion Week and Mozambique Fashion Week this week and next week as well. So let's do it.
Very nice. Keep it there, keep it there.
Based in Stone Town, Zanzibar, Doreen Mashika is a designer of distinction.
My aesthetics are very colorful, very vibrant, and we use lots of cottons and very simple cuts because, I think the content says quite a lot, meaning the fabrics. So I actually designed everything myself. You're looking at kanga pieces. They're actually very, very, they're 100% cotton. They're super soft, and they're Zanzibar perfect because, in the humidity, in the heat, the last thing you want is something that is too much synthetic. So we really are true to cotton. The Doreen Mashika market, to be honest, so far since day one has always been international. I feel that I may be one of the few designers out of East Africa who really pushed the envelope to make the world understand that African fashion is actually super cool, and it's wearable, and it's actually wonderful, and it makes you feel comfortable and colorful and sexy.
Since launching Doreen Mashika Designs 10 years ago, her clothes have graced runways from Paris to Johannesburg.
I think I've been one of the very many African designers who are really advocating for African fashion. But with us, I took that fabric, I produced shoes out of it, I made jewelry out of it, I made dresses out of it. And then suddenly, you saw all these designers from the United States up to Europe starting to use kanga and understanding like it's a wonderful fabric. So I think that's the part that I'm really managed to play fairly well, and I hope I can continue with my fashion weeks to advocate and show that African fashion is great fashion.
Something of a maverick, Doreen spent her younger adult life in Europe where she pursued several career paths, including psychology, linguistics, and even banking. But in 2006, she returned to Africa and found her true calling: fashion.
I've always been a fashion victim, one could say it maybe that way. And whenever I came back, home on holiday, I would just, buy so much fabric and, always sew so many clothes. And I'll be very intrigued by very nice baskets and, see these women that are so beautifully dressed. So that was already very inspiring. And I knew that I wanted to come back to Africa. But I didn't know which country. And then eventually I realized, no, I want to come back home to Tanzania, and I want to settle in Zanzibar. Because of tourism and because the destination is wonderful, and I felt that, there's so much color and vibrancy, and, there's so much to get inspired from. Architecture and, just the people and the colors especially.
Today, Doreen is one of East Africa's most recognized fashionistas.
What's really exciting is it feels as if we're always getting discovered. I've been like 10 years on the business, but I'm always an emerging designer whenever I cross the borders. So it's nice to be seen, that you're, fresh. I'm always fresh. So, and always, I think what's really exciting is a lot is happening.
But Doreen feels that she and other designers in Africa still have a long way to go.
There's sometimes a bit of a misconception, I think, about, what's the fashion industry about? And I like to say that there is not yet an industry of fashion in Africa, since there is no strong supply system. For example, in Tanzania, and particularly in Zanzibar, we have to import everything, zips, buttons, even know-how. We don't have fashion schools. So a lot of situations, I'm self-made. I think the African woman in fashion, the future is very bright, but we must work harder, and we must also make sure that we work together. That is obviously the character of the woman. It's not always that way. But the African woman has to realize that we must collaborate, in many different ways. We need to work together and not against each other. We don't have to compete to a point. There has to be healthy competition, but it should not be against each other. And if we can make that happen, I think together we are much stronger.
What sets Kitaria and George apart, it's the ability to use fashion as storytelling and to tell stories that are uncomfortable. It's in the way, an aesthetic. For us, it's an aesthetic like no other in the country.
We are designers that are not afraid to create because we do what we love.
My Africa is rich with talent.
It is colorful and vibrant.
We are Kitaria and George,
South African designers. Welcome to our boutique atelier. This is Kitaria and George. Basically, we're busy now with fitting a client. Basically, what we're looking for is to get the clients to feel very sexy and yet luxurious.
This design duo is going global with their haute couture style.
So we have those colors. We always say it's exaggerated luxury. It could be anything from a simple gown, but there has to be an element of surprise. There has to be a focal point, some luxury into it. You look like the mother of the bride.
We're in Africa, and Africa produces some of the most, I think, maybe not all of the minerals you can find, and all of those are luxury, and we represent what we offer the world. The gold, platinum, and all, the diamonds. I think that is what luxury is. Luxury is Africans and African designers, African Kitaria and George, and for the world.
And the world has started to pay attention.
Here for Beyonce.
In 2018, they were approached to dress Beyoncé for the Global Citizen Festival in Johannesburg.
Oh, that's amazing, actually.
Quite amazing. Like, I think everyone that knows me knows that I love Beyonce. She is my inspiration. I use her as my point of reference. Like, every time we make something, I'd say to him, if Beyonce was a designer, would she maybe come up with this? Would she be happy with the finishing of this? Or if we made this for her stage performance, would she actually wear it? Because she's a perfectionist, so I really, 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 really adore her so much. And when we got that offer, to be part of the Global Citizen, we were beside ourselves with excitement. It was definitely a dream come true.
As young boys, both Kitaria and George grew up in modest families hundreds of kilometers apart, dreaming of a career in fashion. In 2009, they crossed paths at a fashion show, and George's collection grabbed Kitaria's attention.
What I noticed was more on the softer side of design, and I was more on the architectural side of things, even though I really love the femininity and the flow of the dresses. And I think that is what I resonated most with, the soft yet strong, and that's what I'm about as well. We're at the Seka Gallery in Johannesburg, and this is where I like to come and eat.
In 2014, Quiteria and George, the brand, was born and very quickly gained traction on the local South African fashion scene.
How we launched Quiteria and George is that we're very we're called the mischievous boys because
The
rebels, because what we did is that we always had our own shows that we planned according to Fashion Week. So basically, if you would have SA Fashion Week, then we align our shows pretty much according to their calendar. And that's how we pretty much launched Quiteria and George.
It wasn't long before they were invited to showcase at those very fashion weeks and then runways across the world, from Dakar to Paris.
What is talent to me? It's an ability to really, tell stories that are very uncomfortable, to tell. And I have something within me that nobody has. Which is an ability to communicate with the rest of the world without an actual language. And I'm so fortunate that even within just only in the borders of South Africa, there's so much culture and diversity. And I think it is important for me to start telling those stories that South Africa or Africa, it's not really, positioned or put under one umbrella to say Africa it's a print or Africa is this. Not Africa, it's not all of those things. It's the diamonds, it's the gold. Africa is all about color.
This dynamic duo is just getting started.
The impact we want to make in Africa, for me to be the first African designer to showcase at Paris Haute Couture Fashion Week, for our brand to be equivalent to a Dior or a Prada or, a Valentino. So that's the impact.
Yeah, I think we're in the right direction.
When it comes to craft in Swaziland, I think there's always great opportunities. I enjoy the making up of the product part, especially the sewing part. What it's like for me to upcycle, it's fulfilling because in a certain way, not only making products that are going to be sold, also doing your little part for the environment. My Africa is colorful, upcycled and creative. My name is Lungile Beuta and the brand name is Bantwana, upcycled accessories from the Kingdom of Eswatini.
Entrepreneur Lungile Beuta gives Eswatini's rubbish a new life through her business Bantwana.
This is a backpack using the local brand. The products are meant to bring out joy, laughter, make you happy.
Starting her brand in 2012, Lungile designs and creates pencil cases, clutches, totes and backpacks using discarded food packets and wrappers.
Oh, a day in the office is exciting for me, especially when I'm sewing. The cutting part, not so much. But when it's time to now sew up new creative stuff, that's the best part for me.
Before taking the entrepreneurial path, Lungile studied fashion design and later worked as a preschool teacher. It was her time with children that inspired her first products and inspired the name of the brand Bantwana, which means children in the Siswati language.
So every Fridays we'd walk around a certain ring road collecting waste. So we had an end of year party and we needed gifts. So I thought, okay, let's collect the packets and see if we cannot wash those and turn them into pencil cases for giveaways. So we did that and the parents really loved the product and that's how the brand started.
Now she, along with her husband James, stock Bantwana products in shops, hotels and resorts all over Eswatini. Lungile's passion for design and sewing started when she was a young girl growing up in Mbabane, Eswatini's capital.
The one memory that sticks out is the fact that my sister had a sewing machine. So each time she'd go away, I'd sneak up to it and try and meddle around. But I'd always used to get caught because I'd either break a needle or get the fabric jammed within the machine. From there, I would also help Mom. Mom had a jewelry shop at the time. So basically, my mom was very, can I say, a community person. She was very much into helping people, helping them grow.
Beyond creating environmental change, Lungile is using her brand to show the level of innovation Africa has to offer.
People are very innovative in Africa, and we can build brands that can be recognized globally. Africans are just as capable of doing anything as much as the next person out there in the world. You meet obstacles in life, and you have to be in a position to overcome them. So the impact I'd like to leave behind is to make people realize that you're able to do something, no matter how long it takes and no matter what's holding you back. Just know you got to keep doing it.